The next morning, Haru woke to the sound of laughter drifting through the house. He rubbed his eyes, glancing over at Jake's empty bed. Jake was likely downstairs with his family, already awake and full of energy. Haru took a moment to collect his thoughts. Images of Tyler's quiet, knowing smile last night still lingered in his mind, sparking an odd mixture of excitement and nervousness. He washed up and joined everyone in the kitchen, where Jake was animatedly chatting about their plans for the day. Tyler was there too, sitting at the kitchen island with a cup of coffee, scrolling through something on his phone. He looked up as Haru walked in, giving him a subtle nod, which Haru shyly returned. "Hey, finally up!" Jake called out, grinning. "I was starting to think you'd sleep through the whole day." Haru chuckled, settling into a chair beside Jake. "Not quite." "So, we're going hiking," Jake announced, flashing a grin. "It's going to be epic. Tyler, you should come with us." Tyler raised an eyebrow, glancing between the two of them. "You're going hiking? With your sense of direction?" He smirked, earning a dramatic eye roll from Jake. "Come on, it's a trail. Not like we can get lost," Jake replied. "Besides, Haru's with me. We'll be fine." Haru glanced over at Tyler, who gave him a brief, almost amused smile. "Well, good luck then," he said, taking a sip of his coffee. "Try not to get into too much trouble." The morning passed quickly as Jake and Haru prepared for their hike. They packed water, snacks, and Jake's infamous stash of energy bars. Haru was a little anxious, but Jake's energy was contagious, and before he knew it, he was laughing along as they joked and swapped stories about the past school year. As they were about to leave, Tyler appeared by the door, his gaze briefly meeting Haru's. He tossed a pair of small walkie-talkies to Jake. "Just in case you get lost," Tyler said with a faint smirk. "Don't want Mom and Dad freaking out." Jake laughed, stuffing the walkie-talkies into his backpack. "Relax, we're not little kids." Tyler shrugged, but his gaze drifted back to Haru. "Still, take care out there," he said, his tone more sincere. Haru felt his heart skip a beat, but he managed a quiet nod. "Ready, Haru?" Jake asked, oblivious to the moment that had just passed between Haru and his brother. "Yeah, let's go." The trail was beautiful, with sunlight filtering through the trees and a cool breeze rustling the leaves. Jake was right. It was the perfect day for a hike. They walked and chatted, stopping occasionally to admire the view and snap pictures. But as they ventured deeper into the woods, Jake, ever the adventurous spirit, suggested they take a shortcut off the main path. At first, Haru hesitated. "Are you sure? This doesn't look like part of the trail." Jake waved off his concerns. "Relax, it's fine. I've done this before." But as they went further, Haru started to feel uneasy. The trees grew denser, and soon the main trail was nowhere in sight. They continued forward until Jake finally stopped, scratching his head. Maybe I took a wrong turn." Haru laughed nervously, glancing around. "Should we turn back?" Jake nodded, pulling out one of the walkie-talkies Tyler had given him. He clicked the button and spoke into it, his voice tinged with embarrassment. "Hey, Tyler, we might be a little lost." There was a pause before Tyler's voice crackled through the speaker. "Lost? Shocking." His tone held a hint of teasing, but it was also reassuring. "Stay where you are. I'll come find you." Relieved, Haru let out a sigh, and he and Jake sat down on a log to wait. After a while, they heard footsteps approaching, and Tyler appeared through the trees, looking calm and completely at ease in the woods. He shook his head with a smirk, hands on his hips. "Didn't take long, did it?" Jake grinned sheepishly. Yeah. You can say, 'I told you so.'" Tyler's gaze shifted to Haru. "You okay, Haru?" Haru nodded, feeling his face flush slightly. "Thanks for coming to find us." Tyler's smirk softened into a small smile. "No problem. Can't let you two get lost out here." They started back toward the main trail, Tyler leading the way, his presence calming Haru's lingering anxiety. As they walked, Haru couldn't help but admire the way Tyler moved confidently through the woods. It was as if he belonged here, his calm, quiet strength, both reassuring and captivating. When they reached the trailhead, Tyler slowed his pace, letting Jake wander ahead. He glanced over at Haru, his green eyes reflecting a hint of amusement. "You don't look like the Lost in the Woods type," he said quietly. Haru chuckled, shrugging. "Guess not. I just followed Jake." "Not always the best idea," Tyler said, his voice gentle but teasing. "Next time, maybe trust your own instincts a little more." Haru looked down, feeling a warmth spread through him. "I'll keep that in mind." Tyler nodded, pausing for a moment before he added, "It's good having you around, Haru. Jake's been happier lately." Surprised, Haru glanced up, meeting Tyler's gaze. There was a softness in his expression that made Haru's heart flutter. "Thank you," he replied softly. Tyler gave him a small smile before turning his attention back to the trail, leading them the rest of the way back to the house. Haru's mind was racing, replaying the subtle moments they had shared. He'd come here expecting an easy summer with Jake yet already. He was feeling a pull towards Tyler that he hadn't anticipated. This was just the beginning, but Haru knew one thing for sure. This summer was going to be far more complicated and possibly more wonderful than he'd imagined.